Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs. Welcome to the Dish on Dogs. This is our 10th episode. As you know, we talk about dogs, and sometimes we deviate a little bit to current events, although I'd rather not. We always rather just focus on dogs. So, hi, Jackie.
Hello.
So what? So last week we were talking about the coronavirus and how it affected small businesses.
Right. I'll just bring this up because we get yelled at by Corey.
Oh, I
We're
see.
not talking into the mic.
I see. Okay. So last week we're talking about the coronavirus. Our world has been turned upside down by this. What happened in Minneapolis, which was, in my opinion, I've been in law enforcement for my whole life, as everybody knows on my bio.
Right.
I've been in the military since 1973. I've been involved in violent confrontations in various points by emotionally disturbed people, drug addicts, every type of confrontation you can think of. And what I saw on television, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I'm always a believer in, there's three sides to every story, your side, my side, and the truth. But that was a heinous act that I've never seen in my life. I mean, as I said, putting your knee on a person's throat. I don't want to get into it. It's apolitical.
Right.
We would like to remain apolitical.
Yes, that is what we try to remain.
Right, but that's important for me obviously people know that I'm in law enforcement. They
Right.
know I'm a small business owner. So I just wanted to put that out there, that was inexplicable. I don't understand it. I don't know I don't want to get into the sociology and psychology of all this crap, but it was a horrendous act. And I just want people to make that clear that, from my opinion, it's indefensible.
Right. Well, that's, I think, an important point to make. And I think the point of today's show is to, we have Zooming Rosie here with us today, and she's our Houndstown Charities dog, and she's kind of the mascot for Hounds Town. And, as we're entering, Pride Month, it's June 1st, and as we're kind of dealing with all of these challenges that are going on in our world right now, we thought it was important to bring Rosie in and to just help kind of explain why dogs have so much to offer and why they have so much they can teach us about acceptance, tolerance, unconditional love. And I think Rosie's story kind of ties into that in a way. And for the past 20 years, since you founded Houndstown 20 years ago, Houndstown has always been a place of acceptance for every dog. We have never breed discriminated. We have never discriminated against any dog for their ability or disability, their age. So that core value has always been so essential to our business. So, I mean, I've personally just been feeling that kind of more in the past couple months as we've all been challenged with, these different events going on in the world that can be very divisive. Right. So I always turn to dogs like Rosie to help kind of just understand that things don't have to be that way, right?
Right. So as the saying goes, the more people and the more events that take place, the more we're drawn to our dogs, because they are all inclusive. We've never discriminated. There's not a day in my life that I could remember picking out one dog or another. And, people asked me 20 years ago, what's your favorite dog? Actually, they would have thought that I was in law enforcement, so somehow they thought I liked German Shepherds. And I never, ever I don't even talk about dogs in terms of breeds. As we know, there's bully breeds that have been discriminated against. They've been euthanized unnecessarily. So when I talk about, this is a nice segue to this. So we're celebrating, Houndstown is all about inclusiveness to animals and people. Our customers, our franchisees, our staff, everybody's included. So it is very fitting, actually. Yeah. I was so excited to participate in Gay Pride Month. We're joining, actually, for those, I don't claim to be an LGBTQ historian, but I'm a little older than you, so I know about the Stonewall Inn riots which took place actually in June of 1969. Mm-hmm. So I've evolved, in a world of discrimination. I've evolved, when I went into the military in 1973, people hated us. We were spat on.
Right.
We were spat on in 1973 because we were part of the American military, and we were stereotyped to be, I don't know what. It had to do with the Vietnam War
Right.
and
Well,
stuff.
it was very controversial.
It was very controversial.
Time,
so what I'm hoping for, just like the view of the United States military has actually gone 180. Is it that right?
Right.
360? I forget how you say.
I think it is.
180. I always get that wrong. So now the military is put on a pedestal. There are, heroes. Back in 1973, as I said, there was riots, Vietnam riots. Many of the people that were rioting didn't even know where Vietnam was, frankly. They didn't know the social implications. But my point of the matter is, I've always, in those times of struggle and crisis and confusion, when the world was at unrest, I always took solace. Is that a right word? Solace? Yeah. I always took solace in, look at Rosie. So if you can see her here, she's not thinking of anything except her next piece of lamb lung. Who's going to hold her, who's going to love her, and who's going to give her a piece of lamb lung. So as Jackie said, this is therapeutic for me. I don't need a special dog to be therapeutic to me. It could be a pit bull, a Rottweiler, a little Rosie. I don't even know what the hell she is. She looks like a little coyote to me. But, and so for Gay Pride Month, it's just a symbolic gesture of inclusiveness, and we're joining some of the largest American companies, Disney,
right,
Budweiser, Levi's, DKNY, Donna Karen, she is a customer of ours. So this is not, so we're part of this, right, and we're proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is about more than just the LGBTQ, the community, which I never get right. It's about humanity in general, and it's about everyone, and it's about what can we do as humans to make ourselves better, every one of us. What can we do to be more tolerant? And for me, that starts with looking really to what we do every day, which is provide dogs an opportunity to be themselves. So Rosie, to me, really represents that. And, she is a dog that was abused and left paralyzed. And, the beautiful thing about dogs is that they do not, hate. They're not racist. Right. They don't have the ability to have these emotions that cause so many problems for us humans. So they're much simpler. Right. And, Rosie, of any dog, would have the right to dislike humans or be fearful of them, or if she had the ability to be judgmental, she probably would judge humans pretty poorly, right, but she doesn't.
Right.
And I think that that's just such a wonderful aspect about dogs that we don't have.
But as I always tell my family members, I learn the most important lessons in life from dogs, but for the reasons you just cited. They're none of those things. They're incapable of those things. So to celebrate Gay Pride Month, what I would suggest to anybody, regardless of your sexual orientation or anything, go to a gay pride parade. So some of the best events, and I mean this, the best events I've ever been to was the New York City Gay Pride Parade, the San Francisco Gay Pride Parade. These are Ybor City down in Tampa. These are amazing celebrations of fun.
It's really, they're celebrations of life. It doesn't, I don't think it doesn't mean that this is not a political issue. This is just a celebration of equality and being yourself. And this is something that we have always honored here at Houndstown for our dogs. And I think it's just such a telling core value that we all could use, just as humans.
Yes, core value. And it's wonderful. And okay, so we got that. We got the point. We do it. We love it. I have, as I said, some of my best lessons in life were learned by opening up my eyes and living on the edge of my comfort zone and getting out there. So we covered a lot of things. But again, it's not Republican, Democratic, liberal, conservative. This is just, to me, just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just experiencing different things and knowing different people and participating in different life events just makes you more evolved as a human. To me, I hope it makes me a better leader, a better business owner, a better human all around. So it kind of comes full circle for us at Houndstown.
I agree with all of those things. So that's good. So yeah, we're going to, Donna Karen, as I said, she used to be a customer of ours. She has an organization called Urban Zen. It's a nonprofit organization. She does amazing things, and we've done work for her. and we've trained her dogs and so forth. So she's a friend of Houndstown. All right, what else you want to talk about?
Well, we've got a couple locations opening up in the next like 4 to 6 weeks here, which is super exciting. So, well, first we should start off by letting everybody know we're going to be opening in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we just welcomed Alan and Sarah into our system on Friday. They're going to be opening a unit in South Carolina. In North Carolina, in Charlotte. And then in about 3 weeks, we're going to be opening our Smyrna location, which is right outside Nashville. And then we've got Sanford, Florida, Rockledge, Florida, and Atlanta, Georgia lined up for the next, 2 months or so. So we're very excited and happy to get back at it. There are a lot of customers out there who are even calling our corporate facility saying, when are you opening in Nashville? Are you guys open yet? So everybody seems ready to get back in the facilities and get their dogs back in the action, so to speak. Right. So we're opening probably about a half dozen, and we not that we haven't. We've been working behind the scenes on all these things, as all of our franchisees know, that we are working regularly with an assortment of locations. I just came back from Florida, as you know. Right. I want to give a shout out always to Joan and Tom Sullivan from Beverly Hills. And I don't mean California, for Joan and Tom. I didn't even know there was a Beverly Hills, Florida. I know. Well, it's odd because I think Joan and Tom Sullivan are the only two people that live there. Yeah. Right. So they're faithful listeners. So we came back we're opening our Sanford location and Rockledge location this month. In June, yeah. In June. And we're opening about a half a dozen others. Besides going to a gay pride parade, I also recommend skydiving. My son and I, we jumped out of it. Was one of the most amazing experiences. And I promised to give the poor bastard that had to attach himself to me, Chris. So here it is. So there's a weight limit. I don't know if anybody's ever skydived, but make a long story short, we were down in Sanford, Florida. I went to the Kennedy Space Center. It's called Skydive Space Center. And it's obvious. So it's in Titusville, Florida. It's the greatest experience. You want to talk about a replacement for coffee. Go jump out of a plane at 18,000 feet in the morning, and you'll be buzzing all day long. So Skydive Space Center. And actually, it was the day before the shuttle launched, and we sky jumped over Kennedy Space Center. So it was like this exhilarating experience. So that's something that I do to get out of all the drudgery. And all the things that are going on in the world that just brings you down. The best thing to do, jump out of an airplane. And I'm taking Danielle with me next week. When the next time we go, Danielle's going out. And trust me, the jump master would prefer Danielle. I'm sure. Yes. When they see me, you know what was the most humiliating? I had to pay $2 a pound for every pound I'm overweight. I'm not going to tell you how much it cost me. But it was $220 was the weight limit, and I'm a little more than $220, and I had to pay $2 a pound. All right, so those are just sky things. And again, our philosophy, our optimism never changes. I feel whatever's happening in the world, whatever it is, we're going to come out of this better. Our Houndstown family is going to come out better and thrive through this. We've all had challenges. We've all had personal stories of death and in the terms of family members or friends that were affected by the coronavirus. So this is all sad shit. Then, what's happening in the world, all the unrest in the world, it can be very depressing. It can be very discouraging. Yeah. So jump out, go play with your dogs. And jump out of an airplane if you want. I'll do the playing with the dogs part. I'd like to take Rosie with me next time. I'm going to call her my therapy dog. They said if I have yes, she would love it. How do you know? You don't know. So now, but how now are you not projecting that she would love something? Because I know Rosie. She loves to be with me, and she loves excitement. She does love adventure. That's for sure. And she loves adventure. That's how we met her, adventuring through the mountains of Hollywood. So like I said, stay optimistic, stay happy. I am truly eternally optimistic about things, and we're always going to end up better than we were, without a doubt. So what else you want to talk about? Well, and I think that this is times like these are a challenge for us to evolve, as humans, as individuals, as business owners, as leaders. So I look at it as a time for that, and yes. But yeah, we're really excited to get, after we get these 4 locations up and running, we've then got a location in Maryland. We've got Philadelphia coming up. So we're really, our brand is really starting to expand and get out there. So it's a very exciting time. It's been phenomenal to see the dogs starting to come back to our facilities. I think, providing a dog the opportunity to play and interact and maintain his routine as much as possible, especially given everything that we have going on right now in our world, is increasingly important for every dog. Yeah. So of course, we always stand for that and we advocate for the dog to be able to have the same experience he had before all of this was going on, because dogs don't know any of this. They don't, right. But they do pick up on energies and when things feel out of balance to them. And we've talked to a few of our customers over the past couple of weeks about their concerns about their dog kind of picking up on not only changes in routine, but the change in the kind of vibe in their household.
Of course. We naturally project this, especially to young children. If you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, we're also projecting that on them. So we just have to be cognizant, use our human brain to step above that, go above this, and don't take the low road, take the high road. Continue with optimism. And by the way, for our new franchisees that are out there fluttering around and they're anxious to get open, just understand that our system never stopped. We've taken care of thousands and thousands of dogs during this period of time. Probably, I don't know the number, but it literally in the thousands over the last couple of months. Mm-hmm. And we've done it social distancing. We've just done it. The dogs have been living their best lives during this whole time.
They have, actually. Yes. They've gotten, more attention from the staff because there was a lower volume of them for a period. So they don't know anything has changed. So I just think, dogs like Rosie are just resilient and they forgive quickly and they don't hold grudges. And it's just such an important message, and obviously something that's always been, that is what Houndstown is founded on, is just inclusiveness of every creature. And I just find it now more important than ever to lean into that.
Right. And it's simple. Remember, our business philosophy is keeping it simple.
Right.
No complicated stuff. And that's why this brings me great joy. This was a no-brainer for us. So with this coronavirus and the quarantining, it really didn't change one real aspect of my life, because I interact with dogs that weren't susceptible to this, fortunately, thankfully.
Yes.
So I had it made. You talk about, use the word pivot. We started doing a lot of things with our charity, Houndstown Charities. We got 2 shelter dogs adopted from our location. Many of our other franchisees that were open and operating got really contributed to the rescue world. And,
contribute, taking a time of kind of desperation and rising above that and offering something back to your community is what Houndstown is also all about. And through our, Houndstown Charities, many of our locations did that. And that's, I think, something that we're always very proud of. We've gotten our 2 dogs, Zara and Leo, got adopted. They're still in their homes. They're still doing amazing. Rosie actually helped get Leo straightened out, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, and these 2 dogs, obviously, shelter dogs they're in the shelter for a reason. It's not always the sad backstory that people were moving or they lost their job. Sometimes it's just that they're difficult dogs to manage and they end up in the shelter. So Zara was a great, beautiful Alaskan Malamute, but she was a jumper. She was not good with other dogs. And we never, we addressed the jumping problem, but we couldn't change her personality to like other dogs. That's just the way she was socialized. So we got her a home where people were totally fine with just having a single dog in the house.
Well, they accepted her for who she is.
Yes, exactly. Well,
instead
that's a
of
good
trying
metaphor.
to change her.
Jackie. That's such a wonderful metaphor. Yeah, so they didn't try to change her. They just accepted that the fact is her personality doesn't allow her to interact with other dogs. So she's living her best life now in a wonderful home, none of those problems. So then the other dog, Leonidas, he was a humper, right, Danielle? So he was a humper, and he was like a compulsive humper.
Was, yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't he would hump everyone's leg. He actually humped Houndstown Harry's leg.
That was on Facebook Live.
Right, all on Facebook Live. So that was his behavioral issue. So obviously that's why he was in the shelter. He was probably, I don't know how old, 3 or 4
at least
years
3 or 4,
old.
yeah.
And So naturally, when we put him with a pack of dogs, he'd want to hump them all, and then that would create a dog fight. So he wasn't aggressive towards animal. I called him Romeo because he had a very highly active libido. So I called him Romeo, and he would hump dogs. We put him in a group of 2 or 3 or 4 dogs. He'd hump them, and they'd start a dog fight. So what we did, very cleverly, we took Rosie, and we took Diamond, another female here, that we have here, charity dogs,
yep.
And she will not tolerate any misbehavior by any man. She's learned this.
Or woman. She has very definitely right. So what we did to eliminate this problem, rather than us being big sophisticated dog trainers trying to change Leo's flirtatious behavior, we put Leo, Rosie, and Diamond in the field together. Yep.
And the first thing that Leo saw was an opportunity, and he didn't care about my poor little girl's physical abilities, and he tried to mount her. And she turned around and in a nanosecond expressed her unhappiness with that.
Right.
And that was the end of that. Then Leo saw Diamond. He says, let me go over here and see what I can do with this chick. And he went over there, he tried to hump her, and she did not have any of it. So the moral of the story is the dogs fixed that problem.
They worked it out themselves after a long time of humans trying to address the problem. I think Leo had just not connected the dots. So Rosie helped us with that, and really she fixed the problem between the two of them in a nanosecond. So dogs are pretty incredible. I just think there's so many lessons to be learned from them. Like you said, the main thing is really simplicity and not overthinking things, and just interacting in a natural way and accepting creatures for who they are. Yes. And when we do that, I think there's just a relief aspect, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I literally have these painful conversations every day by humans describing to me their dogs. And they go into minutia of the dog and where it came from, its size, its weight, its age, their training experience, their life story of how they had dogs with, and it literally, it's so painful for me to listen to. I just can't.
Because the answer is just lies in simplicity, and removing all 98% of all of that is just unnecessary when we consider what the dog actually needs.
Right. It's all human projection. As I said to this woman today, it's never about the dog. It's always the human that interferes with the energy and the dog, and they project, and they want to make dogs. They want to make the dogs guard dogs, therapy dogs, emotional support dogs. And, it sounds nice on paper, but what you're really doing is projecting a lot of needs. So I would suggest you get a burglar alarm for your house. Whatever then you're trying to make a dog do for you, just look at Rosie. Here she is. This is it. She is an emotional support dog. She's a 2-legged emotional support dog. And she's got the confidence. She's great with children. All right, blah, blah. We love Rosie. We love everyone.
Yeah. Well, we love everyone. We'll wrap this up by just, encouraging everyone to just kind of take a moment, 5 minutes to just look at your dog and interact with him. And I just think there's so many valuable moments and lessons. And that's what I've been doing these past couple weeks or so.
Take a moment to look at yourselves, look in the mirror and see just enjoy life and nature. Enjoy it. There's a lot of very good, even though there's a lot of toxic things happening in our world that are very bad, obviously. There's also some very good things. I watch birds, I watch dogs, and I just it takes me away from all of this insanity.
And that is one of our main goals at Houndstown, is obviously to provide that environment and that opportunity for dogs, but also for our customers. We know that they work really hard. Their lives are complicated. Not everything is always easy, but when they walk into a Houndstown, even if they're there for just 30 seconds, we want that interaction and that experience to be as positive and simple and pleasant as possible. So, that is our brand. It's acceptance. It's fun.
Fun.
It's just friendliness and openness. And that, I think has never been more important than it is right now.
So let's learn from our dog. We put Rosie to sleep. Danielle is nodding out over there. So that's our signal.
Right.
Rosie
That's
has
our
taught
signal
us
to
that
sign
we
off.
talk too much human chatter, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to go interact with dogs and watch nature, and we're all Danielle's going to go home and go to sleep, and we're all going to have a nice, relaxing day. I'm going to avoid watching television today and just live my best life and offer that same thing to Rosie.
Right. Thanks for joining, everyone. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and of course on the Dish on Dogs podcast page on Facebook. We will see everybody next week.
Ciao.